Today's episode is sponsored by the American Homebrewers Association. Become a part of the U.S.'s largest community of homebrewers for just $48 a year by going to unitedwedrink.com/AHA. What exactly do you get with your AHA membership? How about a year-long subscription to Zymergy Magazine, the world's longest-running homebrew magazine? Exclusive deals and discounts at over 2,000 breweries, bars, and bottle shops across America. Discounts on Brewers publication books and merchandise. Access to a huge library of previous HomebrewCon seminars and talks. And early access to purchasing tickets to each year's Great American Beer Festival and Savor. Sign up now by going to unitedwedrink.com/AHA and get a year's membership for just $48. And if you sign up now, you'll get a free gift. What's that gift? I'm not saying. You need to go see for yourself. It's pretty great. Support United We Drink, support homebrewing, and support the American Homebrewers Association at unitedwedrink.com/AHA. The opinions and statements in this podcast do not represent those of the host's employers, coworkers, family, or imaginary friends. Now enjoy the show.
Happy hour? More like amateur hour. Welcome to United We Drink.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a podcast that is asking the hard questions like, what the serious fuck, Florida? Welcome to United We Drink, right here on unitedwedrink.com, as well as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and wherever fine podcasts are found. My name is Mike Urevich, and I am embarrassed to live in the county that had a council meeting full of Looney Tunes that you probably saw on John Oliver's TV show. I'm joined by my two co-hosts. First up is a man who has difficulties with inflatable water slides. Here is Phil Palmisano.
Yes, there is video of me. I don't follow directions well. I head first all the time. Like the young lady that was more than likely on John Oliver's show, I too don't like to wear anything because I like to let it breathe as well.
Next up is someone who will seriously cut someone if he doesn't get Dunkaroos soon. Here's Joel Codner.
Where the fuck are they? I mean, I went to like 3 7-Elevens the night they were supposed to come out. Nobody had them.
Have you been to any recently? Because you're still complaining about it on Twitter.
Yeah, I pop into one every now and then. They're also supposed to be at Target, but they're not. And if you go on Amazon, it's like $23 for 2 of them.
Jesus Christ, what is this? The beer
It's
secondary
yeah, exactly.
market?
I mean, it's probably the same people. I mean, if they don't end up eating the Dunkaroos, they're going to be damn sure drinking a beer with them.
Oh, so Omnipolo bought them all up?
So I'm telling you, somebody bought them all up. Dunkaroos are like the fucking galaxy of children's snacks from the 90s.
All right.
I was more of a fan of the koala bears filled with fudge. What were those?
I have no idea. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Right? And they came in like an octagon-shaped box.
Yeah, and those goddamn PB Crisps. That was the shit. They were like little crispy peanut-shaped things with peanut butter inside.
Oh, yeah. I think they still make PB Crisp. The koalas, I haven't seen. And since all three of us can't think of it, tweet us. Let us know if you remember the koalas.
I just typed in koala bears fudge. Oh, wait. Is this it? No, I don't think that's it. This is some German thing. Yeah. Hit Phil up if you realize what it is the hell that he's talking about.
Kuchenmeister cocoa cream filled koalas?
That's what I saw. There's also Koalas March. Hello Panda, but those aren't koalas, obviously.
But that's what they look like.
I guess. I don't know. I honestly don't know what he's talking about.
Well, if you remember tweet at United We Drink.
And I'll pass it along to Phil.
Great
Thanks.
start here.
Yeah, killing it within 3 minutes of the podcast.
So let's, you know what? We're not a beer podcast anymore. We're now a snacks podcast. Let's talk about other favorite snacks from our childhood. Worst Halloween candies, go.
Tootsie Roll.
Ooh. No, not Tootsie Roll. Maybe the flavored Tootsie Rolls.
Fucking butterscotch.
But who gives butterscotch away?
The old women. And if they're not giving away butterscotch, they're
And a few
giving you
breweries I can
nickels. Did you ever get nickels or like coins from people?
Pennies.
Yeah.
We had a house when I was a kid that would give you one handful of coins, and it was all pennies. But, I mean...
Every
I
once
thought
in
it
a
was
while,
cool.
you got a quarter.
Yeah.
Well, okay, back on track. What is everyone drinking tonight? Phil?
I'm drinking some bubbly. It was on sale at my local grocery store. I'm currently drinking the blackberry bubbly, which is fantastic, and I just finished a grapefruit bubbly.
Two of my favorite flavors.
Were those the 8-packs that were on sale?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the 8-pack, personally.
either.
Just give me a 12. I mean, I missed out on the Polar by a day. I would have stocked up for a year and a half if that was the case.
Well, it's a bullshit sale. They're 3 for $9. When the 12-packs go BOGO, they're like $4.69 each.
Exactly.
Joel very much pays attention to the economics of grocery store carbonated water sales.
I mean, if anybody was a fly on the wall in our Slack channel, they would see Joel and I going back and forth within our seltzer topic weekly in regards to what's on BOGO, what's going on sale, you know, new seltzers, old seltzers. By the
I
way,
feel like-
mixing seltzer flavors is my new favorite thing.
What is?
Mixing seltzer flavors. So taking two different seltzers, making a cuvee of seltzer flavors. It's fantastic. And it,
So being a child and mixing
I mean, yeah, why
juices
not?
together, and
You got a problem with it?
the seltzer channel on our Slack, the one that I am most absent from, and when I do say something, no one responds to me.
That's
I'm
a
just
common
ignored.
theme on our Slack
as
channel,
if
just
as
in
if they
general.
mute me inside of the seltzer channel.
Mike, what are you drinking?
Oh, I'm having our over at Copper Point our All-American IPA, hazy IPA, and I have a backup of Allagash White.
Well, Phil had the perfect segue into what I'm drinking, and then he fucked that up by passing the mic to Mike. I am drinking Cuvée de Gras from Revolution Brewing. This is part of their limited edition Deepwood series. This is ridiculous. It is a blend of seven different barrel-aged beers. If I can run them off real quick. 36% dry straight jacket 1796 2-year barrel-aged barley wine. 17% sweet Deathstar 2114 1-year barrel-aged imperial oatmeal stout. 17% Thundertaker 1-year barrel-aged rye stout. 14% Jamanilla 2-year barrel-aged imperial stout. 10% Gravedigger Billy 2-year barrel-aged Scotch ale. 3% Sweet Straight Jacket Port 1-year barrel-aged barley wine, and 3% Sweet Straight Jacket Madeira 1-year barrel-aged barley wine. Clocks in at 14.6% alcohol. So, yeah.
Thundertaker is my new favorite beer name.
Yeah. And, perfect timing. I've got a Nacho Belgrande being delivered to me at some point during the episode, so we're ready to rock. And this beer is fucking incredible. Like, it took me a couple of minutes just to start sipping it because the aroma was so strong, and I just had the glass off to the side here, and it's like, oh my god, just the flavors, the aromas, it's insanely complex and just, holy shit. Thank you to whoever said this to me. I think this was either John at Revolution or someone else. They both put a couple special Revolution extras in the box they sent me. I just don't recall which one this was in, but thank you to whoever sent this. Fucking incredible.
That's a hell of an extra.
I know. This might have come with my bottle of Antihero Malort. I don't know for sure.
Joel's going to be drunk by the end of the show. Obviously, he's going to have Nachos Belgrande. We're going to do a little bit of, like, I guess, some recapping as to how we're doing. Because if you follow us, if you're in Florida, you know what the fuck's going on down here. Maybe you don't. Maybe you live under a rock, and that sounds really fun right now because living under a rock almost sounds better than dealing with the news cycle of a daily basis here. But if you're not from Florida, you can find out what the fuck we're dealing with. It's been a crazy past couple weeks for breweries, tap rooms, and whether or not they could be open or not. I think when we recorded the last episode, we were shut down. Then an executive order came out that changed the previous executive order. So bars got shut down. You couldn't serve alcohol on premise unless you sold over 50% food. A new executive order came out that removed the 50% food option. As long as you served food, you were allowed to serve on premise. A lot of breweries took that as like, oh, sweet, we can open because we have food service licenses with the Florida Department of Health, and we have to have food trucks, so that functions as that. There was a lot of back and forth with the DBPR, who run the alcohol, beverage, and tobacco agency here in Florida, and they were like, no, that doesn't mean it. You need to have a restaurant license. And we got shut down again because of that. And now, thanks to the DBPR themselves showing a loophole in their own executive order, if a brewery gets added to the license of a food truck as an owner, they are then allowed to reopen for on-premise sales. So that's where we're at right now. I think it's pretty crazy that the DBPR is pointing out loopholes in their own executive orders, which if you're doing that, why do you even have them? Joel, thoughts on that?
All I can say really is welcome to Florida. I mean, it's absolute madness.
Visit Florida. Hashtag.
Hashtag visit Florida. That's right. Hashtag I live where you vacation. Hashtag I need to move. Yeah. Didn't they basically announce like the second shutdown via tweet and
a one-sentence tweet? Yeah.
Right. And everyone else was like, wait, what?
It took hours before the actual order was available online.
Yeah, this feels like the time our dear leader tweeted something about he's going to order his generals to do something and then like never completed the thought. So for like 20 minutes, the Pentagon was shitting themselves. It's a complete banana republic down here. I don't know what else to say. I think we should have, not to play armchair quarterback or whatever, but we should have just shut the whole shit down for like 2 weeks straight. Fucking, and we would have probably been right back to business already. But it's, we're a fucking melting pot and people are going every which way in that. I mean, I see people I know online traveling and I'm like, Jesus Christ, you're from Florida and you're going other places. What the fuck are you doing? Like, it's just crazy. I don't know why everybody doesn't just stay the fuck home right now.
Phil, what do you think of this?
I think all of us were affected by this emergency order that was released. I was actually on a call when it came down, and my phone just started going crazy. And typically I try and keep my phone to the side while I'm on specific conference calls. My watch is going off. My phone's going off. I look down at my phone, and the next thing I realize, it's the same screenshot of the same tweet. And then from there, I have wholesalers calling, and everyone went from, things are going and getting better, and we're going to start ordering more draft product and start working on things of that nature to help out the on-premise. And then the whiplash, because I don't think that there's any other way to really describe the bungeeing effect of what's going on specifically in Florida within our industry and other industries. This like snap in the neck, all of a sudden everything pauses, everything halts. And it's made, you have to reassess on when you look at distribution, you have to reassess your product splits, you have to reassess what's being sent out. It's been challenging. I can only imagine it being in one of your shoes, where you're a relatively smaller brewery. Distribution is a large part, but not necessarily a huge part. And taproom sales are really how you guys keep your doors open. And to have because we had, it was 5 hours ish that nobody really had any answers. I actually had employees jump on the phone and try and get hold of someone at the department, and the department turned around and told one of the team members, I'm sorry, we don't have any details, and you're going to have to wait until further details are released. And literally he called and was texting me and was like, hey man, I know you're on a call. I'm going to call right now and try and get some answers, because I have bars reaching out to me asking me if I know what's going on. I have friends that are working tasting rooms and breweries down here in South Florida, and he went above and beyond and called. And it's that whole one team, one dream. But for him to be told, sorry, we don't have answers for you, you're going to have to wait until further information is released. His only response was, you tweeted this. Your Twitter account put this out, and you can't answer any questions? So talk about a complete crazy... I agree with Joel. I actually think we probably reopened a little too quickly for our state in particular. But I too see a lot of my friends on social media traveling, and right now it's, or not wearing masks. That's the other thing. Like, please just put a mask on. Like, it just protect yourself and protect me, protect my kid. It's so crazy to think, to put things into perspective in different ways. It's insane. Sorry, soapbox.
No, you're right. It's literally one of the least things that you can do to be considerate of others, and don't, like, you have an argument against it, you're wrong. Fuck you, you're wrong. Like, doctors, nurses, these people wear masks.
Slipknot, Guar, Mushroom Head,
luchadors. So many people that wear masks for hours of their day who are just fine. We haven't been hearing of this great nurse death situation over the last 20 years because of masks, and because they're asphyxiating themselves. Like, it's just silly. Like, and if you are one of those few people who have a legitimate reason to not wear a mask because of respiratory issues of some sort, don't fucking go outside. Go get your shit delivered to you through whatever service you have nearby you. I know that differs from region to region, but there are the abilities for you to get things that you need without then going outside.
So tasting rooms you guys are being able to operate under a food truck license, correct? Like you said?
We at Copper Point are officially now a 1% owner, I guess, of a food truck, and we applied for the license Friday morning, and we had it approved by noon on Friday as well. They told us it would be within 48 hours. Normally it's 30 days. We got it within a couple of hours. So it was a pretty quick turnaround. And we had the digital copy of the license in our hands so that we could print it out and have it available to our staff if there's ever any issues regarding it. I know that the truck that we're working with, shout out to Silver Spork. Thanks for helping us out. They were there at the brewery today. They're also working on giving us some prepackaged foods, like little options that people can buy from us when they're not there, so that we can continue to have food options available for people even when they are not there. And it's I think that it's super important, and it's certainly makes my life a little easier because, or like makes me breathe a little better because I mean, I probably sharing a little too much. I had my pay cut because of our tasting room being shut down, and I mean that sucks. And we need that tasting room to be able. My bosses are doing everything that they can to not furlough anyone, and I appreciate that. And I'm gonna keep busting my ass to make great beer, and if the tasting room can help us make more profit again, then I can get back up to where I was used to making. And so yeah, from a personal standpoint, this impacts me greatly as well. I want to see success in our tasting room, and success in our tasting room in a safe manner. And luckily, I have been seeing a lot of customers being safe when they're in there. We have tables spaced out. We have booths closed to distance people. We've had one issue with a person not wearing a mask, and they didn't even throw a fit. We told them that they just needed to put on a mask. They said no thank you, and they walked out the door. They didn't get in any of our staff's face, yell at them, scream at them, or anything like that. So I'm happy my staff didn't have to deal with that. But yeah, I want success in our tasting room personally and for our business.
Joel, where are you guys at?
So we are in a little bit of a different situation because we have multiple food trucks, so we can't just, sign on with all of these guys in regard to the food license and stuff. And we've had several different visits from code enforcement, but we've been in compliance every time. People are socially distanced, they're wearing masks, things like that. We had a little bit of a busy weekend day last week, especially due to a particular food truck that was pretty popular. But everybody stayed apart for the most part. A lot of people showed up just for the food truck, amazingly. So, it was kind of weird. At one moment, I guess I had heard somebody wanted to hang out inside because it was so hot, and it's like, well, if you're not, it's like a touchy situation because it's like if you're not a customer, but you want to hang out inside, it's like we kind of need you to be a customer because our capacity is so limited. So it's like, how do you communicate that without being a dick? You don't want to tell somebody to fuck off, but it's just really scary shit. And I honestly, and I could probably get in trouble for saying this, but it's like I honestly wish everything would, and like believe me, I'm sensitive to everyone and their employment situations and all of that, but like for the overall good, I just think the entire fucking country needs to just shut the entire shit down for like 2 weeks and let's get past this. I'm truly relieved that the county school board voted to continue online learning, because there was one day this week where I was just freaking the fuck out with all this talk about rushing back to schools, because now you're talking about playing with my kids' lives, and I just don't, fucking with my paycheck is one thing, but the lives of my kids is completely different. So, I was freaking out. There was one day where I didn't even have any caffeine, but I was so cranked up from the anxiety and the stress and the rage of all this talk about reopening schools with no safety concern whatsoever, especially in the fucking hot zone that we are. So, fortunately, we'll continue distance learning, and I'll, figure out how to cross that fucking bridge when I come to it now that I'm working again. But, I'm just not risking my kids' lives. Fuck that.
Well, if there's any industry that is in more turmoil or inconsistency than the hospitality industry at this point in time, it truly is the education system down here in Florida, as well as I'm sure across multiple states in the United States. It's how that's handled. That's obviously for a different podcast, but it's interesting to sort of watch that and see. And again, I think it's whiplash. There's really no other way of saying it. It's you get one answer, and then 2 seconds later, or a day later, you get a completely different answer. It's such a horrible bungee cord effect.
Yeah, and one thing that I saw while all this stuff was happening, brewery up in Jacksonville, Ardwolf Brewery, and big fan of their beers. They make some awesome stuff up there. I've never been to their brewery, but I've had a chance to have some of their beers at beer festivals around here, and they make some great stuff. They posted on Friday morning a big, long post on their Facebook about how the previous night they had 3 armed ABT officers come in with a pre-filled out form of notice of non-compliance for them, and they were in there inspecting, blah blah blah, and while they were there, they changed the notice in front of them from notice of non-compliance to informational purpose visit. They have a picture of the actual piece of paper that they were given and the change that was made on it, and they just felt like they were being shook down by them because they have been very vocal about their displeasures of the DBPR, the ABT, and Halsey Bashir. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Who is the head of the DBPR, and just everything that has been going on with jerking around breweries and bars in general. And I highly encourage anyone who is a Florida beer drinker or even outside and wants to get a little peek as to what some people are dealing with down here, go follow Ardwolf. This was on their Facebook that I saw this post. It was on July 10th that they post that. And it's just like what Joel was saying. It's crazy. It's Banana Republic, not the store. And it's frustrating. Like I get being safe, and I get why the initial ban was done. Like, because you can, like, Phil, you're out there in the market. You see bars, restaurants, and you've voiced your concerns about some places looking a little more like crazy than others and feeling uncomfortable around them. And they just decided, like, all right, bars are the issues. Adults have no capability of socially distancing themselves in social drinking situations. Bye-bye. And it was just this blanket cut without taking any consideration to other things. And instead of punishing people for acting inappropriately, punishing bars for not doing proper social distancing, and like it's funny that they said that they had no ability to police bars and restaurants and stuff like that for this stuff because it's just too difficult. But we're hearing all the time about breweries now being dropped in by agents and officers from the ABT to check in on them in the past week. So they definitely have enforcement out there. So that seems like a crock of shit to say, oh, we don't have the ability to enforce this, but they do.
Yeah, I've swung by several. I went to a handful of accounts and bars, restaurants. Obviously off premise, doing a lot of that. And for the most part, bars and restaurants are following the rules as best as possible. I actually went to a sports grill in Pembroke Pines not too long ago. Fantastic experience. It was everything was spaced out. You had to wear your mask to the table. Once you got to the table, as long as you were sitting at the table, you could take your mask off. And we went in for lunch and, just to say hey to a good account. And everything was super professional, super clean. It was nice to see, everybody following, basically what the orders were. Went to celebrated my son's birthday this past weekend and went to Cooper's Hawk over in Dania Point, and they did an amazing job. Everything was so spaced out. That place is usually a madhouse. They did a really good job of controlling crowds, making sure that there weren't a ton of people there. Same thing, had to wear your mask to the table. It was basically filter in and filter out one way. It was awesome. My family felt safe. It was the first time since probably February that the three of us went out for dinner or lunch in any type of manner. And, my wife was comfortable. My son was comfortable. Everything was pretty good. Now, I have been, and I've seen pictures more so. I refuse to walk into an account that I feel unsafe walking into, be it on premise or off premise. So I have seen some photos online of, bars and restaurants across the state of Florida where clearly people are not social distancing. They're not wearing masks. It's baffling. A loss of words on that, because unfortunately it's that whole thing from like kindergarten, which is one bad apple ruins it for everyone. And you have one account that just doesn't pay attention to, or one restaurant that doesn't pay attention to the rules, and potentially could mess it up for everyone that is following the rules.
First of all, the bad apple thing needs to go away because it's not true. It's fucking dumb. But so you had your first,
I think it's
like
fitting.
sit down.
I mean, it really is.
No, because one bad apple spreads to another, which spreads to another, and then by the time you have a bunch of, they all become bad
and
apples.
That one bad apple ruined it for everyone. People that are following the rules and the people that aren't following the rules. Those that, a handful of people that don't want to follow the rules or the guidelines, are going to mess it up for those that can, because business and industry is going
I'm
to
saying
shut
that
down.
it's usually not one bad apple. There's usually multiples in it.
But figure of speech. Come on.
Yeah, I get you, but I don't think that figure of speech is necessarily accurate. But you had your first sit-down dinner experience. Yes, you said yesterday?
Friday.
So I had my first sit-down, like, eating experience with my friend Kevin, all of our friends. We went suit shopping for my suit for the wedding, and we were like, "Oh, are you hungry? Yeah. Do you want to stop and get something to eat?" We're like, where we were at, there's a Brass Tap right across the parking lot. We went to the Brass Tap in Boynton Beach. Really well done with the social distancing there. We sat outside at a table underneath their awning with a few other people. All of our tables spaced out really nicely. The server was great. He was super apologetic, thinking that he was being very slow, but we swear for our second round of drinks, we ordered them and he came back what felt like 10 seconds later, as if he just reached into a magical cabinet and our drinks happened to be there and just put them down on our table. But I mean, big shout out to Brass Tap in Boynton Beach, because they were doing a great job of socially distancing people while providing a good service. We wore our masks to our table. If you went to the bathroom, wore your mask there until you came back to your table. It was a nice experience. But I also don't think I would have gone into a place that was a little more crowded. They just happened to not be super crowded at that point in the day, so that might have helped my decision to do that a little bit more. But still, it was a nice experience to do something like that feels like I haven't done in so long.
I did see Phil posting about it, and I was like, not being judgmental or anything, but anytime I see a friend like out at a restaurant and they're posting on social media, I'm just like, oh no, like, what are you doing? But it didn't look like anyone was anywhere near you.
No,
Yeah,
there were tables. It was basically two tables behind us, two tables on the side of us, and two tables and on the other direction. So you had a really solid buffer area. like I said, I've been super cautious. I have gone to accounts for work, specifically when traveling. Obviously it's a little bit harder when you have to be on the road. I went to Tampa a few times and had some sit down lunches, I should say, ordered in for all of my dinners. For the most part, I'm trying to stay off social media when it comes to that stuff, but even though it was an unusual feeling on Friday night to sit down and have dinner with my family at a restaurant, it was a welcoming feeling once I relaxed just a little bit. And maybe that was the second glass of wine, but it definitely helped to just calm down a little bit, because those were things. Think about it. February, we weren't thinking about that stuff.
No, even the beginning of March. Joel, I feel like you've been very quiet through this whole thing.
No, I mean, I'm in agreement with everything you guys are saying. I mean, I can't repeat any more what I said earlier. I mean, it's just, hashtag visit Florida. You couldn't write this if you wanted to. I mean, that Florida would become the place that is the global epicenter. I mean, and here's Arizona, like, trying to compete with us. Everybody thought it would be Texas, but no, Arizona's like going hard, trying to get us to hold their beer, but nope. We got plenty of beers to hold ourselves.
Yeah, it sucks to think about that. You've probably heard me talk about it and joke about it on previous episodes about my whole wedding thing. So like, that's just been I've always heard like, oh, planning a wedding, it's a pain in the ass. Well, planning a wedding during a pandemic, that makes it even more special. But so much stuff going on a nearly daily basis. It's all changing. The day that we're recording this, we had an announcement of a brand new high of reported cases, the highest of any state since this whole thing went on. It's like, how long till we can stop being embarrassed and just being like, yeah.
I'll put it this way. I decided, you know what, with the amount of travel that I'm doing and things of that nature, just to be safe, I'll call and I'll just get a preliminary test done just to make sure, I'm good. I'm trying to get out on the road a little bit more. I want to make sure that I can turn around and safely tell people, hey, I've been tested. I'm fine. I'm negative. Everything's good. I feel fine. I'm not showing any signs, no fever. I can still smell. I can still taste, et cetera, et cetera. I just figured, hey, just to be safe that I'm not asymptomatic, I'll go get a test. Called today. They are booked up through next Sunday, and I might be able to get in if I call tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. for the following Monday. So not tomorrow, but 7 days later. So if I had symptoms, and this is the C.B. Smith drive-through facility for Broward County, the one that is constantly on the news nationally and locally, 7 days, I can't get in to get an appointment. So if I was showing symptoms or if I was really sick, that's alarming, in my opinion. And to a degree, we've sort of sidetracked from beverage, but this is all impacting, our industry right now.
Oh, I get what you mean. We ourselves are going and getting tests done this Wednesday. We called yesterday to set up an appointment, and Wednesday evening, Wednesday was kind of there was different times during the day, was the earliest option at a local walk-in clinic. Well, it's a walk-in clinic chain.
Like an MD Now or something like
yeah,
that?
I didn't want to name names, but
okay.
We just want to be certain. Like I said, we're having a wedding. You guys are being there. It'd be nice to be able to tell you, hey, we've been tested and we're negative. Our families feel confident in that. Even my work, not that my work has asked for anything like that. I mean, I've I've had big time like sinus and allergy issues over the past couple weeks, but mainly because I think of this like the Sahara sands stuff that's been going on down here too. So like I'll have like one day a whole bunch of congestion or like a scratchy throat, and then the next day be completely fine. It's just like it's stuff that are not necessarily symptoms of COVID, but like it sucks to be suffering from something else during the same time, and then it gets in your own head, it gets in other people's heads, like, oh, what if they have that? And like, no, it's not. But wait, maybe it is, and then you start getting in your own head about it. But you know, we're just going to go be safe and get that done and just go from there.
Makes sense. Your wedding was in the back of my mind too. You know, when we were making that, I was like, it would be nice to tell them, like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
So,
will the bride and the groom on top of the cake be socially distanced?
I don't know yet.
You should paint a face mask on at least.
With all the stuff that's going on right now, we're still just trying to find a new baker to make our cake. I don't know if we're good. I doubt we're going to be putting the little thing on the top of it.
I might have a connection for you.
Oh, okay.
Our cake lady was amazing.
Okay, shoot me that afterwards. We're getting wedding planning done on this episode. What else? Is there anything else that we want to touch on about all of this? Like catching people up? Like I don't even know if this is entertaining to people. I feel like we're maybe.
Well, I'll be really curious to see. You know, we sort of had projections earlier as all of this sort of happened. Obviously, we're still in phase one. By no means are we out of phase one yet. I'll be really
people
curious.
Who are in phase two, are they back in phase one now?
I mean, technically, it's like an edited version of phase one. Miami's basically in like -1. So I'll be curious to see how things continue to progress. I still believe that the off-premise is going to drive business. And unfortunately for the foreseeable future, just simply because when bars are getting reopened, I mean, there was a report that was put out this past week, and I should have saved the actual source so that I could cite it, but it was something like 30% of draft lines are open as the industry, as that premise is reopening. So if you have 10,
sent that to us, right?
Yeah, you're reopening with 3. So there's 7 dormant lines. Or if you basically had a keg box that fit 3 half barrels, but you squeeze 9 sixtels into them, you're going back to those 3 half barrels. The trends are really unusual. You're seeing some wholesalers really push for sixtels because accounts are apprehensive to go in and purchase a half barrel. And you have some wholesalers that are saying, no, we only want to focus on half barrels because our accounts, need that price per ounce hookup on the half barrel. So I'm really curious to see how, as the on-premise figures out how to maneuver in this new world, is it package, is it draft, is it single serve, is it plastic cups, glass cups? We talked about it all in the past, and I feel like it's every 2 weeks we could almost revisit certain topics and just go back to it and say, okay, off-premise still surging. Plastic cups are not really being seen, but we're seeing more people move to aluminum cans, single serve. It's really how this shapes our industry and the entire hospitality industry as a whole is going to be something to watch for the remainder part of 2020 and unfortunately probably 2021 as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this goes into next year as well. Joel, you have any words of encouragement? Any
from me?
Any positive affirmations?
Yes, enjoy Arby's and wear a goddamn mask.
Speaking of Arby's, friend of social media, probably not friend. I don't know if he actually listens to the show. Michael Graham from Austin Beer Works.
Yeah.
Did you see his post about Arby's the other day on Twitter?
Oh, how it's an RB and they
Yeah.
sell. Yeah. You didn't know that?
Never knew that.
Holy
Mind
shit,
blown.
really?
Like, I was like, that's one of the greatest things I've ever heard.
Wait till
Phil,
you take
do
a
you
look.
know this? The naming
I have
of
no idea
Arby's?
what you guys are talking about. So consider me, probably a percentage of our listenership.
This was me. Arby's. RB. Roast
Okay.
beef. That's what they serve.
Wow.
Phil looks unimpressed. Anyway.
Wait till you find the hidden 31 in the Baskin Robbins logo.
Oh man, I'm not gonna
We're
sleep
getting in-
tonight until I find
getting
that
into-
31.
All right.
Getting into some Da Vinci Code type shit here.
I was gonna say that's some deep, dark, fast service, fast food knowledge there. Jeez.
All right.
We're
Let's
like
go
the
from
drunk
things.
Goonies.
Let's go from things that have nothing to do with beer to probably other things that have nothing to do with beer. Who wants to do their last call first?
I will.
Sure. I'd honestly shout out. At the beginning of all this, I've tried to sort of space out and go to different breweries that I would like to try or sample things, and I've come across some amazing breweries across the state of Florida that probably for all too long I haven't been able to swing by, or I just wasn't thinking about it. But I challenge everyone that is listening to this podcast to do the same. Find a new local brewery that's good. Just find a new local brewery. Support your local businesses. Get out there and try some different stuff. At the beginning of all of this, I wouldn't have said that I am a hazy IPA fan. I now have to say I'm on the freaking train, which stinks. I went through my refrigerator over the weekend, and I had, great beers in the refrigerator, but they were all sort of clean, clear IPAs. And honestly, I just really wanted one of those hazy, sort of juicy, stupid IPAs that I hated all the taglines from back in January. COVID definitely has done something to me during this time frame where I do appreciate the hazy IPA style. So I'm outing myself as a hazy IPA fan. And finally, one thing that I have enjoyed a lot are Metallica Mondays on YouTube. Every Monday, Metallica is releasing a new live, or actually an old live concert. And I love it because all of the the songs are snipped, so I can skip songs that I don't care about and watch songs that I do care about, and those guys are just so damn good live. Sorry, 2 last calls today. I'm a hazy IPA fan that all of a sudden has a reinvigorated love for Metallica.
So Phil's a haze bro. Is it haze bro or haze boy, Joel?
I
you're
still don't
better.
like lactose in my IPA, so just for the
Which is it,
record.
Joel?
Haze Bro and Pastry Boy.
Okay.
BOI.
Yes.
Like Big Boy?
Yes.
And crispy. Joel, go ahead.
Yes, so I went through all of Twitter. I checked every single...
All of it.
Every single tweet. And as it turns out, I'm the only one who does not like The Old Guard on Netflix. What a just boring piece of shit. Charlize Theron basically reprises her character, not officially, but reprises her character from Hancock. Spoiler alert, some immortal super being who I guess is stronger when she's around. I don't know, some fucking dumb shit. It's just god-awful, boring action movie. She kicks ass, and there's, a couple decent actors, but oh my god, just... I fell asleep like 14 times. And then I go on Netflix hoping to, misery loves company, trying to find some people who hated it as much as I did, couldn't find one. So guess I'm alone on this one.
I'm gonna stick to Netflix as well. Watch the new Jim Jeffries special.
Yes.
So good.
It was he like I feel like he has never flubbed a special before. Like his specials are just always fire. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea. Joel used to tell a story of going and seeing him down here. I don't know why I wasn't at that show. I must have had something else going on that night, but he went with some coworkers from the brewery we used to work together at. And
No, that was Joey Diaz. I saw.
Oh, that was Joey Diaz? Okay.
I saw Jim Jeffries with my wife and Ed Roberts.
Oh, okay. Never mind. But
Joel,
this
which
special
show was that? Hard Rock or?
Yeah, down
West.
in Hollywood.
Yeah, I saw that same
My
set. It
last
was
call.
amazing.
But
Sorry, Mike.
but fantastic special. That guy is just sharp and wicked. Like he hits all of the terrible people without being polite. Like he's just like, fuck being polite. I'm just going to tell you how it is. And I loved every moment of it. I mean, there were some specific things that just stuck out to me as being like, yes, that needs to be said way more often. I won't say it. Just go watch it, enjoy it. If you love Jim Jeffries, you'll love it. If you're somewhat familiar, you should really enjoy it. If you don't know Jim Jeffries, go watch it. Be surprised. Be like, what the hell? And then if you don't like it, then you're wrong. Well,
I would recommend eating a cheese plate while you watch that special.
Especially if you're lactose intolerant, and see how long you can last.
And he totally stole my bit about Ghostbusters. I'm just putting that out there.
Dina has so many.
Joel got canceled.
I think Dina's
on
interviewed
Twitter.
him once or twice, and she
Really?
said he is on all the time, and he was one of her favorite interviews throughout her time interviewing constant comedians. We talked about it while we were watching the special. This special was awesome. It was really good.
So, Joel, you want to plug anything?
Florida DUH Brewer on Instagram and Twitter.
Phil?
P. Palmisano 77 on Instagram and Dos Spirigos on Twitter, which I don't check. I only get notifications when Joel tweets.
Really?
So
I do.
every 4 seconds.
Yeah, I get notifications. Every morning I wake up with a notification that Joel has tweeted something, so apparently it's set for 24 hours.
Follow me at Mike Loves Beer on Instagram and Twitter. You can follow the show at United We Drink on Twitter, United We Drink Pod on Instagram. We're also on Facebook. And you can subscribe to this show on any of the major podcast networks, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, any of those. You can subscribe to the show and get brand new episodes delivered to the device of your choice. We're also on our website, UnitedWeDrink.com. Buy a shirt, button, sticker, tote, whatever on our web store to support the show if you wish to. UnitedWeDrink.com/store. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another new episode. So we'll catch you then. Cheers.
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 No Hail Satan. All right.
He's turning a new leaf. And Nachos Belgrande.